presidents, former prime ministers, and authorities from different parts of the world. I think more than ever, it is necessary to think about human rights and how we can build a more democratic and equitable world, especially for new generations. And I want to focus my intervention talking about how we can protect democracy, how we can improve the quality of life of people in our countries, in the whole world. As Ambassador Mohammed says, we are facing big challenges now, not only because the pandemic situation, but also because the inequality on the distribution of the resources inside the countries and in between the different countries. Nowadays, for example, in the different countries, we are trying to find the ways how the vaccine can be distributed all around the world in an equitable way, because most of the people that are vaccinated now, they are in a very wealthy countries, but countries like my country, Ecuador, and others, it's such a difficult process to access to the vaccine process. And I said it like a preamble, like an introduction, because I want to focus more the attention and in what's happening in the world that make very hard, sometimes impossible, to achieve the SDG goals or the goals that we like humanity want to achieve. And I think that we have a kind of sickness, a cancer against democracy. Two main issues that I want to remark. One is poverty, the inequality that make that a lot of people have nothing, almost nothing, and other people have too much. The inequality is against the democracy process. Why? Because people think that having a dictatorship or having a person that have all the power, it can be fixed. And then the temptation of populism or neo-populism is very, very strong, especially in countries like in Latin America that I know better than other countries. And the other situation, the other cancer, the other situation against democracy is corruption. And corruption is all over the world. And we see that even in this pandemic situation, some people are making money with corruption in hospitals, in vaccine processes, and how to arrive to the power. And when people get to the positions, they want to privilege himself or herself and the surrounder. Then we have to fight against these cancers because when we think about the pandemic, we say, okay, in some time we are going to be successful against this. But what happens with the corruption, that it seems to be like endemic in the world? And we have a lot of scandals of corruption all around the world. How we can fight to this pandemic, the pandemic of corruption? And I strongly believe that we have some ways, and I want to make some proposals. One is about education. We have to educate people in values, in ethics. And of course, it is a process. You cannot get it from now to tomorrow. It's impossible. But we must improve the quality of our education. And we have to work very hard to put in the curricula of the schools, especially elementary schools, but also secondary schools, also universities, this curricula of values, talking about the values that are all over in different parts of the world since a long time ago, like to respect the others, to respect the life of the others. We are here talking in an event organized by an international organization of human rights. Then human rights is part of the values that we have to instillate, to put into the education, in the formal education. That's one way that it takes time, but it's the more safe and secure way to arrive to our goals. Another issue is how we can get this correct way of proceeding of authorities or from different levels. We have to have in any country a framework of law, and we have to respect the law. Law has to be for everybody, not applying the law and putting the laws only for the poor people or the people that is not in government is a big mistake. And we have to fight that the law is forever, that it's not going to be some people out of the law, what's happening, especially with political classes in our countries. And the other thing that we have to work very hard is to show it by example. We are leaders here. We are talking in between leaders, and we have to show the others that we are in the capability to demonstrate a right way to proceed, how we can act, because we have more visibility than other people. Through the media, through the different ways, now through the social network. And we have to prove that we are really in right position, and we have to demonstrate these human values that has to be with the honorability, with the correction, not corruption, etc. Then my proposal is that we can work on these fields to achieve the goals, to have a better, more democratic and equitable world. Myself, I'm out of politics since long time ago. I decided to work more in the field that I love from the bottom of my heart, that's education. And I continue working with teachers in my country and all around Latin America and Ibero-American. I work also in a school of leaders, from young leaders to my country, trying to instillate, to focus in all these values that I am talking about. Then we try to do the best that we can do in terms of proposals, in terms of teaching, in terms of training. And I hope we can share all these ideas and maybe join efforts in different parts of the world to achieve these goals and to face these challenges that we have. I did not talk about other challenges that are so important, like climate change, like how to fight poverty and others, because it will take too much. And I know that we have to hear all the proposals here, but my proposals is from the side of education, fighting corruption to achieve this democratic and equitable world that we want to build. Thank you very much.